Are you looking for a game that has a dark, rich story such as this War of Mine, as well as a game that has a map that reveals itself like the Seventh Continent, and a game that is like Survivor, where you're a bunch of people who have no business being in the land that they know nothing about and is very dangerous and come in with very limited skills and resources? Well, this is the game for you. Tainted Grail by Awaken Realms is out on Kickstarter right now, and don't worry, you don't have to worry about this guy. Hi everyone, my name is Marco with Board Game Revolution, and today we're taking a sneak peek at Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon by Awaken Realms. Now, as you can see here, there's a lot to this game, and this is not everything. This is just the prototype that they sent us, so we're going to go over the basic mechanics and components, the gameplay, and the battle systems. Everything else that is part of the stretch goals, as well as what you see the updates on Facebook, we're not going to go over because there's a lot. A massive amount. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dive in. Tainted Grail is a 1 to 4 player survival exploration game where you're trying to save Avalon over multiple years, or acts. The main mechanics are role-playing, where you choose your own adventure to unlock the secrets of Avalon. Exploration as you reveal more of the map as you light the menhirs. Deck and pool building as you gain experience throughout the land. And a modular map that gets revealed the deeper you get into the story. The base game comes with 8 minis, 4-player boards, 4-player combat decks and upgrade decks, 4-player diplomacy decks and upgrade decks, 36 ability cards, 120 encounter cards separated into blue, green, gray, and purple decks, 100 event cards, 60 item cards, 40 secrets, 64 map cards, an exploration journal, 106 tokens and markers, and an art book. Each character in this game is unique, so they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. Eiley can heal, yet she is also traumatized. Bayor can craft items, but he also has a festering wound. And Maggot can conjure magic, but is addicted to addictive things. At the beginning of every round, you're going to reveal an event and turn any dials that are on the board. In the day phase is when you'll take all your actions. Here we're going to travel. To do so, you need to expend an energy, then move to any connected location. Reveal any connected map tiles, and if there's a lightning bolt, do that event. We will take a look at this event later on. You can also explore the location you're already on. To do so, you'll expend an energy and flip the card over, reading the flavored text. You will then grab the journal and go to that location's number. Starting from the top, you will make choices to reveal more of the story. Some cards may have events on them. To do them, you just pay the cost and get the benefit from it. Going back to the first card, we see we have a lightning bolt next to this event. These happen immediately. Here we're going to draw a gray encounter. Reveal the card on top of the associated deck. We've just revealed a combat encounter, and we're going to use Bayor as an example of how the battle mechanics work. At the beginning of the combat phase, you'll draw 3 cards. These will be used to build your combat sequence. A combat sequence is a value of cards that are placed next to the villain to defeat it. If you do not like the first set of cards that you get in your hand, you can pull a mulligan and get 3 new cards. In order to play your first card, you have to match a key to the villain. Here we have made a connection through aggression. Even though there are multiple keys on the card, you do not have to connect them all. But what you do connect, you have to have that attribute active. Now that this card is active, we will read the action at the bottom of the card. Bayor's attack ends our turn. When your turn is over, you will discard down to 1 card. It's time for the villain to attack. We will take our attack value and find the chart on the villain's card. Here we can see we take 1 damage, and because this is the first attack, we will take a 2nd damage due to the charge. Since we took 2 damage, we will move our health down by 2. The next round begins and we draw 3 more cards to continue on our sequence. Once your attack value is equal to or greater than the monster, you have won and you get the loot. Because your attacks happen before the encounter's attack, it will not attack back. Diplomacy encounters happen the same as battle encounters by matching up the keys. Your objective is to raise the affinity above the green bars. Once you do, you will get the reward. If it ever goes below the red bars, you will then fail. There's a few things I want to point out about this game. First, as you saw in the middle of the video, is the battle system. Now, this system is very unique to this game. It's like playing chess in that you're setting up moves and cards so that they work in synergy together to defeat your opponent. But not only that, these cards can be countered and taken away, so you actually have to find or be ready with the next card so you can continue on your sequence. So that's a very unique system that I have not seen in other games. The next thing I want to point out is the artwork. The artwork already looks complete, and this is only a prototype. So when the full game comes out, I'm sure this is going to look even better than what it looks right on the table right now. The next thing I want to point out is the story. This already is the first act. Actually, not even the first act. It's the first 2 chapters of the first act, and it's taken me 2 to 3 hours to play. So I can imagine that once the full base game comes out, it's going to be anywhere between 45 to 60 hours of gameplay. Then you add the stretch goals and the expansions on top of that, so you're going to get even greater experience in this game, and it's all story driven. So if you like RPGs, this is going to be the game for you. The last thing I want to point out about this game is the replayability. Now, I know you're like, but it's a story, how many times can you play it? Well, think of it this way, is that this is a modular board, and when you visit places with different characters, and different events can happen because of the cards that you have drawn, the events that can be linked to those cards, and the stories that you choose from are always going to be different because, again, it's different actions, different people, and different players that you're playing with. So this can always change. And this is not very common in a lot of games like this because if you've played the Seventh Continent, you know that you can venture out and basically, as long as you have the items, it's always going to be the same outcome. But with this, it's actually going to be different because you make the choices that lead the story on, and that changes the outcomes of actually how it ends. So there's actually variable endings as well that you have with this game. So if you're looking for a deep RPG story game that is ever changing and has different variable outcomes, a unique battle system, and artwork that you can only ever expect from Awakened Realms, then make sure to check out Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon on Kickstarter right now.